This episode, Quisp and Quake, the greatest cereal war of all time. In 1965, Quaker Oats created two cereals that were strongly represented by two cartoon characters.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Montgomery, with a word to mothers about two new cereals from Quaker.
I'm Quake, the Earthquake Power cereal made with rice.
I'm Quisp, the Quake the Energy cereal made with corn.
All right, fellas, it's all yours.
I love Liz.
I love her more.
These two characters were destined to battle and compete against each other at the breakfast table for years to come. Quake was a powerful, deep-voiced, muscle-bound miner who was able to burrow through the earth with only his bare hands. This cartoon character was voiced by the actor William Conrad. He became better known a few years later as television's Cannon. Quisp was a hyper and sarcastic alien who often traveled in a flying saucer and taunted Quake. He was voiced by Dawes Butler, who worked on many of the cartoons in the 1960s like Yogi Bear, Snagglepuss, Elroy Jetson, and more. The voice Butler used for Quisp sounded and talked a lot like one of Jerry Lewis's crazy characters.
I tried it a little.
Quake came in the shape of wheels, and Quisp cereal looked like flying saucers. While both cereals might have looked a bit different, they were pretty identical in taste, which was a lot like Captain Crunch, which was another cereal made by Quaker Oats. Both cereals came with a lot of pretty cool prizes inside the box and other offers. There were often comics on the back of the box and a small comic inside. But you're also able to buy things with box tops and a little bit of money. My opinion was that the all-time best was an actual Quake helmet with working light, which I was lucky enough to get and wear when exploring dark areas of our basement.
Have no fear, Quisp is near.
Courage, little lady, Quake is coming.
Listen, muscle brain, outwitting crafty beasts.
The battle went on for a few years until Quaker Oats had to face the fact that Quisp was now selling a lot more cereal than Quake. Quaker Oats decided to give Quake a shot in the arm by totally transforming him. He entered a machine that changed him from a hulking, muscular miner to a trimmed-down hero who now wore a cowboy hat.
I like you just as you are.
How's this, Mama?
Like I say, I like you just as you are.
You're slimmer and trimmer.
Just like my new Quake cereal.
It didn't work. Kids found the radical change confusing and not at all appealing.
In the end, there can be only one.
So, by 1972, they decided to create the ultimate battle between the two cereals. Kids could vote to decide which character would survive to sell cereal another day. The ballots were printed on the back of the cereal boxes. It was time for American kids to make their final choice. There was no internet, so the kids had to cut out the ballot, write down their choice, and mail it in. When the final tally was announced, it was Quisp with 203,112 votes to Quake's 157,316 votes. Within a year, Quake disappeared from all grocery store shelves. But it wasn't long before Quake reappeared in a supporting role to a new mascot called Simon the Quangaroo. Simon sounded a lot like Cary Grant.
Hello, hello, hello.
And the new cereal was called Quake's Orange Quangaroos. Like Quake cereal before, Quangaroos was up against Quisp in advertising. Eventually, Quake's name was dropped completely from the name of the cereal, and sadly, he was never heard from again. A few years went by, and in 1976, Quaker Oats ran another contest, this time asking children to vote for Quisp or Quangaroos. Quisp won again, and Quangaroos joined Quake in the land of washed-up cereal cartoons. Hopefully, Quake was able to regain the dignity and the muscle he'd lost after being transformed into a scrawny cowboy. In the 1970s, Quisp disappeared from grocery stores because of low sales. But you couldn't keep the plucky alien down for long, and he returned in the 1980s and again in the late 1990s. He and his spaceship even popped up on The Simpsons with a young Homer Simpson. Quisp survives to this day, but only in select stores across the country. If there isn't one near you, the best place to buy a box these days is probably on eBay. But watch out, some try to sell it at outrageously crazy prices. Well, that wraps up another episode of I Did Not Know That. Please subscribe and share this video.